Optimization never ends with just your character. This is a social game where you have to communicate with human beings. Your powerful build is not going to speak for itself. You, of course, have to do all the talking. Today, I'm going to give you the best D&D advice I can possibly give you, and I feel like we don't hear enough of it in our community nowadays. This video is about tabletop etiquette itself. It's the most important thing to get right out of anything in the game. This is true optimization. You cannot break these. And if you know them, this video is a good reminder. I honestly believe there should be content like this every 2 months. Right now, nobody's making these, so I'm gonna do it. If anyone at the table breaks etiquette enough times, the quality of the game dips and eventually dies. I'm sure you guys have experienced a table death from drama or whatever. Or maybe you've read a D&D horror story about a table falling apart. Tables die all the time, and usually it has to do with failed etiquette. So unfortunately, people fail at the basics. So welcome to Pack Tactics, where tabletop etiquette is the only thing that matters in tabletop games. If you and your table follow it, you will reach the end of the campaign every single time. But before we get into that, we need to talk about our project. It's the Kobold and Gator Dice! That's right, these are transparent resin with mini-me's and mini-gators inside, ready for adventure. We're going to give you big numbers or small numbers when we think it's optimal. We're professionals in good storytelling! And very murderous, will aid you in destroying all of your enemies. We're doing this project with only crits who are masters with dice, so we're in good hands. The project, however, isn't fully ready yet, but I've got a favor to ask. We need 500 more followers on BackerKit. That way we'll be nice and ready for the launch party. So head on over to Kobold and Gator Dice if you're interested. Link in the description. Back to the video. Now, basic tabletop etiquette. You cannot break these. If you or someone else does, the table will likely die. Number 1, be nice to people and be fun to play with. Both of these are self-explanatory. Enjoy yourself. Now, you don't necessarily have to be friends with the people you play with. I, of course, want you to be friends because that makes things a billion times easier. But sometimes the people you play with don't want to be your friend. Kobold, that sounds so weird. Yeah, it is kind of weird. I've played with a few people who are like this, and I find it a little hurtful in campaigns, but whatever. You sadly can't get along with everyone you meet, even at the table. These are not bad players or DMs or anything, they still follow tabletop etiquette. They do make it to the end. They just try to be neutral to you for whatever reason. Which brings me to respect. Number 2, you have to respect everyone at the table. Always remember that this is a team game above all. You're playing with real human beings who are playing characters, which makes things complex. They might do or say things you don't like in the game. You can, of course, protest, which I absolutely want you to do in the team game. Just try not to get super mad about it. We'll talk about that later. Number 3, follow the DM's rules. Normally, this is the DM's game and his table rules. He spends tons of time doing this for you, and you have to respect it. If you don't like it, I recommend considering leaving the table politely. The battles are usually not worth it. Next, very important. This is what people break the most, which makes me very upset. You have to talk to the people you're playing with about literally everything. This is a communication game, and if you fail at this, then there will be catastrophic results you wouldn't believe. You have to be as transparent as you possibly can about literally everything. You can't play this game without transparency. This is a super complex game, and a lot of us put a lot of emotions and energy into it, especially the DM. Their mind is in the game the most. Like sometimes even missing a little detail, forgetting something important, student not paying full attention or misunderstanding something can crush a DM. I wouldn't necessarily say it's anyone's fault. Your table probably plays 4 hours every Saturday. Your notes are probably not organized, and a lot of things are happening in RL. There's stress at work or school, maybe you show up at the table tired, whatever. The point is, everyone forgets things, miscommunicates, gets distracted, whatever. We're all human except for me and Gator. Keeping track and remembering everything is hard. Reading human beings and their emotions is hard. That's why we use transparency. If there's things you missed or forgot, you have to ask. Even if it's embarrassing or stupid or might make someone a little upset, you have to get the information, because the longer you don't have it, the more catastrophic it can become later. People are going to assume that you don't care about the game or remotely try at all, which is awful. You have to show that you're actively trying and improving. It shows that you care. If you fail at this, you will lose. There's a lot of angles to transparency. We can be here for a very long time. The other big one is, do not spring forth things at the table if you know they are problematic. That applies to everything. Roleplay, mechanics, whatever. You have to be as transparent as you possibly can about literally everything. No masks and no bullshit. Number 5, don't grief your party. I've made a video about this a while ago. Basically, the quick summary is, don't sabotage your party through roleplay, mechanics, or real-life explosive anger. This is a team game. The lawful good paladin player and the tiefling warlock should get along with each other in the team game, for example. They should never try to take each other out. Number 6, show up to the table on time. Just showing up to the table every week consistently will just get you extremely far, especially if you show some excitement. Super straightforward stuff. Everybody loves this. All of this is basic tabletop etiquette. You cannot break these. At minimum, you can break number 6 sometimes, but do not make that a regular occurrence. I don't need to elaborate further. We can add more stuff to this list, like taking session notes or knowing the basic rules. But I'm kinda on the fence for these, because if the new player is super fun, active, good communicator, nice to play with, and shows up on time every week, then they will make it to the end. They have the social skills to win. The 6 points here is the only thing that matters. Which brings me to don't get mad, which can be number 7. It's a gray area. This is a little hard to tackle because transparency is also on the list. So if you're mad, you should show people that you are mad. I think that's okay. Just whatever you do, please, please, please do not go over the top. Getting explosive mad is the absolute worst thing you can possibly do at a table. You break number 5. You are griefing the table. Not only do you say a lot of stupid things, but you also do a lot of stupid things. It's very suboptimal. If you do get mad at all, make it short, and of course don't hold grudges. You have to keep in mind that this is just a game. You are getting mad over a game. Anyways, that's everything. If you master these, you win. All of this is the key to your victory. You can play at any reasonable table in the world and make it to the end of the campaign. All of this is how you win Dungeons and Dragons every single time, unless you or someone else breaks these rules. If you follow it in your own way, you are truly power gaming. Nothing tops this. You can, of course, optimize it more by adding more etiquette, like for example taking session notes and knowing the basic rules, which we talked about before. There's a lot of little things you can sprinkle in. You can tell me them in the comments, I'll most likely agree. And one more thing before we end the video. Remember, tabletop etiquette doesn't just end at the table. A lot of it should blossom into your very being. End of video. Don't forget to check out the Kobold and Gator dice. We need followers. And one more thing. Almost heaven! West Virginia! On the 15th of March, I'm going to be in Huntington, West Virginia. I'm going to play bagpipes live for St. Patrick's Day at the Jockey Club. So if you're in the area and you want to see me live, well, here's your shots. To optimize, if you mention pack tactics to the bartender, you'll get a 10% off your bar tab. I want to get you nice and drunk so my playing sounds better. I'm very rusty. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye-bye!